Hello, we're here today to talk about the new Himiway A7 Pro Commuter Ebike. This is the latest commuter e-bike from Himiway. It's loaded up with a ton of cool features such as a 500 watt mid-drive, 48 volt 15 amp hour battery using LG cells, a torque sensor, 5 levels of pedal assist, and it's got a throttle too, full suspension with actual air springs in the fork and the rear shock, a color LCD display integrated into the stem, a hydraulic dropper post, built-in ABS lock, a rear rack that comes with a bungee strap system, front and rear fenders, and front and rear lights. This is a lot of features for a commuter e-bike. It's a big step up from what we've seen in the past with the Himiway commuter bikes. What do all these features cost? Himiway sells this bike for $23.99 on their website. Let's talk more about some of the features and how they work. The bike has a 500 watt mid-drive. The mid-drive system is a bit like driving a manual transmission car. You have to choose the correct gear to get a good efficiency or power out of it. For running on flat roads at a constant speed, it likes a nice slow pedal cadence. If you're going up a steep hill, it likes a fast pedal cadence to get the most torque out of the motor. The bike is silky smooth riding and pedal assist. The power delivery is almost instant. You do get a small pause when shifting gears, but that is expected so that you don't wreck the pedal drive line putting too much torque in while shifting. Throttle mode is a bit different. The throttle is a binary on-off type. It has no proportion to it. You either get 100% or nothing. When riding in throttle mode, you have to keep shifting the gears to keep the motor at its happy RPM range. So again, it's a bit like a manual car. If you want to go faster, you have to remember to upshift, or you want to slow down, remember to downshift to keep the motor spinning at the higher RPM range where it has the best torque. The bike has air suspension at the front and rear, no coil springs, which is really nice. It does a great job of smoothing out any cracks or potholes in the pavement. The dropper post has a little give in it also, which helps even more. Because it's got air springs, you can set both the fork and rear shock to exactly the feel you want. The Suntour X132 shock is actually designed as a cross-country mountain bike fork. It is more than up to the task for a commuter bike. The rear shock is a generic P-Shocks A06. I haven't heard of that brand shock before, but it works well for paved riding. The bike has a color LCD display built into the stem. This gives the middle of the handlebar a very clean look. I've ridden in bright and dark conditions and have no trouble reading it in any light condition. The bike uses a 4-button controller on the left handlebar for controlling everything. It's simple and intuitive to use. You hold the set button down to get into the menu to adjust settings and reset the trip meter. The bike has the throttle, a bell, the shifter, and rear brake on the right handlebar. One thing I don't like about the bike that much is how busy the right handlebar feels with everything on that side. I would have preferred the throttle on the left side where a lot of other bikes have it. The bike comes with a hydraulic seat dropper post. You operate with a bar under the seat. You can easily adjust the seat up or down several inches. It's got some suspension built into it as well. It doesn't have a handlebar control to operate it, which I don't mind. This isn't a mountain bike and you probably won't adjust it up and down for every downhill and climb. There's an ABS lock built into the rear frame that locks through the rear wheel. You can get an ABS chain to use with the lock to lock the bike to something. Without a chain, otherwise you're just locking the large rear wheel so it can't spin and makes the bike hard to carry away. The lock is not Sole Secure rated. None of the locks of this type sold by ABS are Sole Secure rated either, so I don't know what level of security that will actually provide. ABS does sell several diamond and gold rated locks though, so they are a well-known and very good lock company. The rear rack is new modular design. It comes with a bungee system attached to it for tying stuff down. Himiway will also have bags and other accessories available that can attach to the sides where the bungee hooks right now. Let's talk about riding the Himiway A7 Pro. This bike is super smooth to ride and very relaxed. The suspension does a really good job of cushioning and smoothing out the ride. The riding position is very upright and comfortable. The bike feels very balanced cornering. It has a steeper head tube angle than you would find on a mountain bike, which gives it a more nimble turning feel. It's very stable feeling all the way up to 28 miles per hour. You can tune the ride to be stiffer or softer with the air springs and the fork and shock also. The bike comes with street tires on it, and they work great on pavement. They work okay on dirt roads and gravel, but if you wanted to make a really good gravel ride, you can take the A7 Pro and throw some gravel tires or cross-country mountain bike tires on it. It will work really well for that use. We did our standard test with the bike to see how well it performed and compared to other commuter e-bikes. The first thing we did was test out the top speed. The bike is advertised with a 20 mile per hour throttle and 28 mile per hour PAS top speed. I was able to get it to go 20.7 mile per hour on the display using throttle. I measured with the GPS and got 20.1 miles per hour. This is close to the 20 mile per hour published number. I set the bike to PAS 5 and tried again to see how fast it would go with pedal assist. The max speed I saw on the display was 28.2 miles per hour, and the GPS measured it as 27.5 miles per hour. The bike is a little bit under geared for going 28 miles per hour. It's easy to ride at 24 to 25 miles per hour. To go faster than that, you have to really pedal fast, and if that pedal cadence is hard to push hard on the pedals at the same time to get force out of the torque sensor. I did find it easier to hit 28 miles per hour on a slight uphill where I could get more force into the pedals. On a downhill, I kind of couldn't get it to go much faster than 25, 26. The bike will do 28 miles per hour, just not very easily. Next, we did the range test. I took the bike on a couple of long rides to see how far it would go on a charge. I rode the bike in PAS 2 for the range test with pedal assist using a 250-pound rider. Our ride loop has some long steep climbs in it as well as flat ground, and again, I do the ride as close to 15 mile per hour as possible. The bike went 50.6 miles before it wouldn't provide any more assist. This is really good for a 15 amp hour battery. Our Abington level 2 only went 44 miles. The ride when up Prodigy we tested only went 33 miles. So the pedal assist range for the A7 Pro is really good. Throttle only range for the A7 Pro is a bit different story. I'm glad that the bike has a throttle for when you don't want to pedal, but it's a binary on-off throttle. It doesn't have the partial throttle. We got the bike to go 32.4 miles on throttle. It requires a lot of shifting to get a good cadence for the motor and a lot of work to get it to operate efficiently. I'm sure with more practice we can squeak out a few more miles of it, but it's a bit shorter for range because again you have an on-off only control for the throttle, so you end up kind of pulsing the bike a lot with motor on, motor off to kind of hold it at 15 miles. Next we did our hill climb test. We took the bike to our standard hill climb hill. This is a half-mile hill with some 10% grades on it. It's the longest, steepest hill I can find around this area that is paved. I use a 250-pound rider. I do the test twice, once with max pedal assist and once with throttle. With PAS, the bike did the climb in 1 minute and 40 seconds. This is a good time for a 500-watt bike. It beat out our Abington level 2 by 15 seconds, and it beat out the Ride 1 up Prodigy by 12 seconds. Climbing with the bike and pedal assist is very good. With throttle only, the bike took 2 minutes and 10 seconds. This was 6 seconds slower than the Abington level 2. Again, when riding this bike in throttle mode, you have to shift as the bike speeds up or slows down. Every time you shift, the motor cuts out for a second during the shift. Climbing with the throttle takes some practice to learn when to shift to get it to work efficiently with the max torque. With more time on the bike, I'm sure I could cut a few seconds off that time, but it's not going to be as fast as the hub motor bike that just gives full power 100% with no cutouts when you're shifting. Let's talk about sizing. The bike is available in one frame size that is a step-through design. Me and my wife have spent some time riding it. I'm just under 6 feet and the bike feels really well for me. I ride with the seat about 1 inch below its maximum extension. My wife is about 5'6". She fits the bike okay, but is about as small as will work with the dropper post on it. The dropper post limits how far you can put the seat down. With the regular seat post, you can put the seat a few inches lower, which is what she would prefer. I would say the usable range for the bike as it's delivered is about 6'2" to 5'6" with the dropper post. You can go down to 5'3" or 5'2" by getting rid of the dropper post and using a regular seat full down. Let's talk about assembly for a minute. The bike comes packed in a few layers of solid foam. This is by far the most protected I've seen a bike in the packaging. At the same time, I hate throwing out tons of foam when doing the reviews here, so I have mixed feelings about this, but the bike comes really well protected, but you're throwing out a lot of junk in the process. The bike took me about an hour to assemble. Overall, it's an easy bike to assemble. There are a few steps missing from the manual. There's a small plastic cover in the miscellaneous parts box. It's not mentioned anywhere in the manual. It goes in the steering tube just below the stem to cover the wires a bit more. The second unmentioned thing is the headlight. It goes into the lower 2 bolts in the handlebar clamp on the stem. To get it to fit there, you have to loosen the bolt on the headlight so you can spread the 2 headlight brackets far enough apart. It's easier to sort out where the wiring wants to go by removing the headlight after you attach the bracket and then putting it back on after you have the wires where they want to be. I've really enjoyed riding the Himiway A7 Pro so far. It's one of my favorite e-bikes I've ridden. I think it makes a great road bike. It's got so many built-in features for an under $2,500 e-bike. If you're looking for a commuter e-bike or a bike for dirt or gravel roads, I highly recommend it. Thanks for watching. Please hit the like and subscribe if you found this helpful.